everybody. I'm outdoors right now in the brightest part of the day in summer. It's about 65 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 70. It feels really hot because I'm just not used to being in the sun. It also kind of feels like I'm starting to get a sunburn even though I've barely been out here. I actually did get a sunburn after filming that. I haven't been outside for almost 4 years unless it was dark, and so I guess sunburns are easy to get. But today is a celebration of a personal milestone. My light sensitivity has improved to the point where I no longer need these. I'll retell some of the stories that led up to today, and then I'll end with an updated scene for the video version of my story, a TBI Story. So, some background. I suffered a brain injury in a car accident about 5 years ago, and over time I developed extreme light sensitivity. And light sensitivity has really been a major defining factor over the last 4 years, and it got to the point where I couldn't go outside or even look out a window. Erlen spectral filters rescued me from living in a dark room, but I still had to block most of my vision out, and I couldn't tolerate lights that were very bright or very blue or blinking. As such, I had to block out the windows of the house. I call these the submarine years because I couldn't tell if it was sunny or stormy, and with the brain injury, I even lost track of what season it was. I remember pretty distinctly some years back. I was taking the garbage out at night, and I had to look down like this, make sure that my vision was completely covered because even the porch lights were too high contrast to look at. And I saw some fallen leaves on the ground, and I thought, whoa, I can't believe it's fall again already. It seemed like it had only been a few months, but, an entire year had gone by. So beside the helpful Erlen lenses, stem cell therapy has been extremely helpful for me. It really helped turn things around. However, when we kind of first found out about them, I would have to find a way to leave the house to get it. And I couldn't find any products that sealed out peripheral light, and I would get motion sickness if I had my eyes completely blocked out. So I spent about 6 months trying to figure out what to build, and I wound up building these goggles. I called these goggles Project Apollo because related to the sun, but especially because the risk of them failing it kind of made me think of them like a space helmet. I mean, just the reflection of light on the kind of rim of my glasses was enough to land me sick in bed. A flash of light could mean being in bed for the rest of the day with labored breathing, and the close bright light from an eye exam made my light sensitivity worse for years to come. And so those kind of incidents made me realize that if this somehow failed, with my eyes sort of fully dilated because these are really dark welding glass, then I might not recover. And that's kind of where things were at the time. When something big would happen, I didn't bounce back. It would sometimes be years before I could, regain a lost ability after some kind of event that pushed me too far. So I needed to wear these things for doctor's appointments. It was mostly stem cells was the first one. And I always had these ready kind of in this box. It was easy to get to in case there was some kind of house fire or emergency that caused me to leave the house. And so with this kind of mentality of thinking of it in terms of being a space helmet, I tried to make them as robust as possible. I started with welding goggles. They're also very carefully double coated with electrical tape. I have massive foam seals, 2 head straps that are capable of sustaining 20 pounds of load. And I practiced and rehearsed and ran through scenarios. They're pretty difficult to see out of. The lenses are set kind of high, and being welding glasses, they're intended for you to look at one very narrow thing as opposed to walking around outdoors. But I did get them ready in time for the stem cell trip. It's amazing to think that a simple car trip could be so intense, just being a car trip. I just had waves of feeling sick, it was like looking through dark binoculars the whole way. And on top of it, the sound sensitivity that I had, I was trying to, adjust white noise and things on my smartphone, but I couldn't see because these were so dark. Yeah, it was basically like I was coping the entire time, trying to come up with ways to block the sound, being careful, to make sure the light was blocked. The recovery afterwards was pretty long. I actually had a giant list of things to do to prepare, like make sure I have a number of days of food ready for afterward if it's too difficult to do anything beyond microwaving something for myself. Cooking was difficult at the time too, so I used that kind of egg bake from the old easy breakfast video I made with like 36 eggs all at once, and then just that would kind of be possibly breakfast, lunch, and snack. So as things started to turn around, I started making progress with light acclimation, trying to go outdoors when it wasn't too bright out. I put out some updates about that a while back now, and I was starting to make some pretty good progress. I think I had darker lenses then, but it was before COVID hit, and I was essentially working inside of a vacuum. And once that was gone, progress kind of stalled out. The vacuum, as I call it, means an environment with minimal cognitive or brain load. There's no tasks happening, no people around, ample time to rest before and after. Despite not being able to work exclusively in a vacuum, over the last year or so, I've been able to train up to going outside without the vacuum and using fit-over sunglasses instead of the goggles. So these are the two side by side. As you can imagine, this is a bit head-turning. I don't have to wear this out. These are pretty inexpensive. They have see-through sides, which is nice, and they just fit over the top of the sunglasses. And yeah, so today is the celebration of me being able to leave the house with these for the first time to get actually another round of stem cells instead of the goggles. So it is with much pleasure that I can announce the retirement of the goggles. They got me where I needed to go, but I'm very glad to be moving on and looking forward to all that the light has to offer. When I released a TBI story, which was the video version of my story a while back, it ended with me kind of reaching for the back door as if I was about to go outside, kind of towards the end of my recovery that I had talked about in it. But then backing off just before the credits rolled, because I couldn't quite yet go out. And part of me wanted to wait to release the video until it was, I was actually able to go through the door without the goggles, but I'm glad I didn't wait because that was already over a year ago now. Here is an updated scene to the end of a TBI story, kind of the way I originally wanted it to be, to commemorate the occasion. Let's recover together.